Hello everybody, this is Jared, the non-alcoholic aficionado, and I've got Elaine from Bauhaus Brew Labs to help us out with today's brewery tour and interview.
All right, can't wait to get started.
Thanks for hopping on, Elaine.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of where the process starts. We do a full strength beer and then send that over to ABV for de-alcoholization. So I can kind of walk you through the full process of what it's to do a full beer.
Yeah.
It starts here. This is our mill. So this little orange guy has the capacity to grind all those grains. Basically what happens is we have different specialty malts here that the brewers will dump in. There's also the 2 super sacks of malt that we use for different amount of grist or different amount of grain in the product. So for each beer, the grain bill is slightly different, and we choose based off of like flavor and profile what we want to put into each beer. So that all gets dumped in there. It goes up through the top around here, through the chain base, all the maize, up and to the left there. It'll go into the grist hopper, and then from there, that's our Brewdeck will dump into the mash tun below it. So all the grain goes up into there, and then that's the start of the brew process. So we can actually head over to the Brewdeck if you want to look at that. So yeah, basically what'll happen is grain will dump from up top down into the mash tun below. We have like our water hookups that'll kind of like go in through there to basically create like a malt tea, and that's what we call wort. And after that, it'll all steep into there and get all the like nice sugars and maltodextrose and like all that stuff out of it. Rest for a certain period of time, recirculate for a certain period of time, and then all of the grain will come out of it, and the wort, just the liquid, will transfer over into the second kettle. So not this one here, but all the way across over there. That's our boil kettle. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So what will happen is once the grain is done, we don't need any more. It goes down through here, up and out the top, and then out to the silo out back. That's our spent grain. So we have a certain farmer pick it up, and they use it to feed the cows and the hogs and the livestock. So that's cool. Well, we can head over to the boil kettle and talk about that next. So you can see Java. He's very important. Okay. So Brewdeck, as mentioned before, starts here in the mash tun, transfers over to the boil kettle. There we'll boil it for 90 minutes. And then after that, you add in a certain period of time, sometimes at 85 minutes or 15 or so. I'm getting the exact numbers, I'm not the brewer, so the hops will go in for certain beers in boil kettle. Sometimes we'll add them in whirlpool, all just different recipes. After that, after the boil is done, it'll transfer over to the whirlpool, which is going to be that middle tank. And it'll take in there, and then what will happen is the beer will spin, and you'll get a lot of that particulate out of it. And then knockout is going to happen through the heat exchanger, which is going to cool down the wort from like super hot to a fermentation temperature. So for ales, it's a little higher than lagers. Lagers around 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Ales get up to 70, but changes based on recipe, changes based on what we want. So knockout here, and then you send it to one of these fermenters. So all of these cylindrical, conical fermenters are where we hold beer. Both are non-alcoholic and our alcoholic ones. So in between tanks, everything gets like a thorough clean and sanitization process. So nothing is crossing over at all. Yeah, so it'll ferment here. You can actually go look at a tank that's fermenting.
Sure.
Kind of get a feel for it. So this is one of our cellars, Cellar 1. So this is one of the beers that's fermenting right now. I think it's one of our core beers. I think it's our cream ale. So you can see that the blow-off tube is here. So it means the active bubbles are actively fermenting yeast, and it's blowing off that CO2 out of there. So it's still going, still rumbling. Once that's done, what we call it, crash the beer. So close off, add some pressure, turn down the temperature. If we need to, we can harvest yeast from that. So that's kind of cool, where you can get a keg out of the bottom, take the yeast that's all done from this one beer, and then put it into the next one. So we are not wasting any yeast, and it just goes through onto the next thing to do its this job. Once the beer is done fermenting, so lagers, they'll sit for, I think it's at least 3 to 4 weeks, a certain period of time. Then they'll head over to start transferring through the centrifuge. So we can go over there and look at that.
And there's a random bike in the middle there.
Yeah. Our tap room employees, they use the cellar as their own personal home.
That works.
Awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of, you'll see there's a lot of nuggets of weird things that are around here that you have to look through.
Well, this looks cool. What is this?
This is our centrifuge.
Cool.
So it is pretty cool. It's a very fun and complicated machine, but basically it does the same thing as any like centrifuge, like a benchtop centrifuge, where it spins out particulate. All the heavy stuff goes to the side. What happens is the yeast or fruit or hops or anything that we don't want in the clarified product gets ejected out and straight down the drain there. So you see those big tubes, they're gone. And then all of our product will go in the top here and then out the bottom here. So you'll go in more hazy and come out more clear.
Cool.
Certain beers, we want them to be hazy. So what you do is you go turn this up and go really fast and really spin so it comes out still pretty turbid. And then
is this a typical process, or is this unique to what you guys do?
No, this is I would say it's a pretty standard process. Not everyone has a centrifuge. These are pretty expensive machines.
Yeah.
But other people do some of their clarification process to get it from fermenter to bright, whether that's filtration or using some kind of clarifying agent, or a lot of places will have a centrifuge. That's what we do for each beer. It has a different it's like spin time and recipe time and how fast you're processing it, and what we can get from this is data on the turbidity levels, or like how much haze is in there and how much we want to dial that to. So that's pretty cool about this machine. It's just super loud.
Yeah.
So loud. So once that's done, all the fun things from it, it'll shoot over to one of the bright tanks. So we have 5 different bright tanks, and these are all those like flat bottom tanks. These are the like conditioning tanks. This is what we package from. So everything that's in these tanks is bright, it's clear, it's ready to go. There's no kind of particulate in it. It's just totally ready to package. So for the specific non-alcoholic process, what we'll do is we'll take the beer, at this point it's full strength beer, from the bright tanks, send them into totes, send them over to ABV. They process that, we get it back, we send it back into a clean and sanitized bright tank.
Cool.
So that's how that process goes. And then once we get it back, we stabilize it, we package it, we pasteurize it. So that's kind of that full process. In addition, some of our products get filtration. So these are these little fancy fun guys here.
The three things here?
Yeah, these 3 tanks here. These are all different filters. One is a lenticular, so I don't remember the micron size off the top of my head. I think I'd have to ask. I forget the micron size. But it's basically like size encapsulation. And then these guys are both carbon filters, so they're just scrubbing out any kind of thing that will bind to activated carbon. Yeah.
Cool.
So that is what's up here. I'll show you kind of more stuff. Yeah, so with any of our bright tanks, they'll have a carb stone on them. So this is where we'll force carbonate a lot of them. Pretty much all of them. I don't know why I'm saying all of them. And then through that, what packaging will do, so that at the end there is the canning line, which we can go over and look at in more detail. But they'll hook up hoses here and send it over to the keg machine and the canning line, and that's how we get it out to you guys.
Cool.
So, we'll go over there.
How long has Bauhaus been around?
We've been open since, I think, 2014.
Okay.
Pretty sure it was that. But I've been here since 2021, so 3 years now.
Okay.
So
this is the canning line? This
is the canning line. So everything starts in the D-pal here, which is this big red guy, lifts cans up, shoots them down the slide. They'll go into the forehead filler, which you can see right there. Beer, it fills it up, and then when it gets lid steamed on top of it, pulls through. We have our labeler right through here, so any kind of product we go through has different labels on it. So that goes there, through the tunnel, and then if it's getting six-packed or four-packed, we'll have the pack tech machine here, and then they come off the end here, and then end up on these lovely, beautiful pallets over here. So we have Wonder Stuff that got packaged today, so that's one of our flagship Pilsners, and kegged as well. So that's
Very
kind
cool.
of the whole process.
I thought this was going to be bigger. I didn't realize it was that compact.
It is a compact. It does a lot for the size that it is.
Yeah.
I'd have to ask the exact number of cans. I think it's around 30 cans a minute or something that. So we can package like a 60-barrel tank of beer in a day.
Wow.
In a day. It'd be a longer
impressive.
day, but it's in a day.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, and especially if because what packaging will do is sometimes they'll be canning as well as kegging at the same time. So it makes the process speed up fast, and they're super efficient and super knowledgeable. So it is a huge help. Yeah.
So from the NA perspective, tell us a little bit about what goes into it after it comes from ABV.
After it comes from ABV?
Yeah.
So
what's different about it?
Well, what's in terms of like what we're adding, in terms of how you have to handle it, or what?
How you handle it, and what goes into making it, coming from the source, pulling out the alcohol and then putting it on the shelves.
Yeah, so for that process, what we do is we receive the de-alcoholized product, and then that's like it is a point when you want to be the most careful with it, because with a non-alcoholic product, you're losing one of the best antimicrobial agents, being ethanol.
Yeah.
So at that point, we add in a stabilizer to make sure that our product, prior to even getting pasteurized, is not going to have any kind of like microbial flare up. So that is when we receive it from them, we attach it to the bright tank, send it into the bright tank.
Yep.
If there's anything that like needs to be added, like top notes or finishing flavorings, we'll add that.
Got it. So like the sour probably gets a little something added.
Top note.
Got it.
The Helles does not. It's pretty clean. And then both of them get like stabilized. We make sure that the pH is below 4.6. I think for all targets, for non-Helles, I believe we try to go below 4.2 or 4.0.
Got it.
And that doesn't really affect taste so much. It does to a little bit. We get more of a sharpness, but I think it still like adds to the pleasantness of the experience.
Sure.
And that's just to like, again, make sure that microbially we are safe and stable. Not sour is already quite low in terms of pH, just the nature of the beast. So that one, we just make sure it's below that point and we're good to go. There's a lot of like logging that you have to do. So what we've tried to like make more robust in the past couple of years is making sure that everything is well documented, like who cleaned the tank, at what time, what was the chemical used, how long did it stay at ABV, how long was it here, like every minute detail of the process is like mapped out as best we can. After that, we send it over to like one of our partner facilities and they'll pasteurize it at a certain PU, which is a pasteurization unit, and that's a function of both time and temperature. So we're trying to find that nice happy medium of like, let's get all of the stuff that's residual out of there so it's clean to a consumer and we're not going to have any mishaps, and then also not affect flavor. So trying to toe that middle line. But I think right now we've got our process dialed in pretty well, so it's just a matter of like replicating that over and over and being diligent with every single process.
Cool.
So.
Should we maybe head out to the tap room area?
Yeah, we can go out there and
take a look at things,
chat a little bit more. So Bauhaus at its core is a family-owned business. So a lot of people here, whether or not you're related or some way, loves to be here and like loves to hang out with their coworkers. When I started here, actually this is like my first job out of college, so I had no idea like what I was getting into, and everyone here has been so like awesome, so welcoming, so great. This place really, really lights up in the summer when we have all of our events. We have our anniversary party in the middle or the beginning of July. We have Schwantoberfest, which is our Oktoberfest celebration. We have a bunch of like bands coming into play. There's people like slinging beers. We have like a really awesome patio that totally fills up in the summer. We have Animales right now. They are a barbecue company and they're one of the best in the cities. We have like a bunch of different diversity of products, and that's something that like I've started to really appreciate about this place, is how much we're caring about including other people and including anyone coming to the place who wants to, and making them feel like they have a choice for them here. So that includes like our THC products, that includes our Bolo hard seltzer, that includes especially our non-alcoholic options, which like are able to reach a demographic that often feels like, oh, when I come to a brewery there's nothing for me. It's not true. We want to make sure that there's multiple options for you. And I just feel like this place has a lot of identity and has a lot of like offer to give to people. So I love it here. Come by, come say hi, or don't care.
Well, thanks Elaine for having me come in, giving me a tour of the place. Really awesome time spending time here at Bauhaus. If you want to subscribe to the channel, click over here. If you want to check out a playlist of more beer review videos, click right over there. Thanks Elaine, have a good one.